because you better lose yourself in the music the moment you better never let it go. Oh, you only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime, yo.
I didn't know that was the bit we were going with for the opening.
So if you thought that didn't land, let me tell you how Vivek Ramaswamy must have felt at his little campaign event where at the end of it, all of a sudden he just breaks out the Lose Yourself karaoke. In the midst of a crowd of just conservatives, old conservatives, because let's be real, who's going to a Vivek rally?
That's true, yeah. And this happened on my day where I wasn't looking at Twitter too much, or X, I should say. And I can't forgive any of you I can't forgive any of you who tagged us in this. It was in the Discord too, or dropped it in the Discord, or tagged us on TikTok or whatever it was. That was like legitimately. I was cringing so hard, and it's crazy because that's not the demographic he needs to get right now.
No,
not at all.
Because it'd be wild. Because like the people who I think of that would vote for Vivek Ramaswamy, one, I can't even conceptualize them in my head, and two, it's not that. It's anything but that. That would land better at a Trump rally. Yeah. I feel like the type of conservatives that fuck with Eminem, like absolutely ride for white rappers, are the type that vote for Trump. And it's not Vivek.
But the thing is, like, Eminem hates y'all. You know what I mean?
That's an awfully hot coffee pot.
That was my first thought, was like, Eminem doesn't like you. And also the young people that I'm guessing he's trying to appeal to with this, if he's, even thinking this through, they hate the Republican Party. Gen Z millennials, they fucking hate you guys.
And Eminem.
Yeah, and Eminem. It's like, what are we doing here?
Oh my goodness, he's a goofball. Yeah. That's why I fuck with him. That's why he is he's a sleeper pick for one of the funniest people coming through for this round of the primaries.
Did you see Vivek Ramaswamy also had like a Vivek's 10 Commandments thing?
Oh yeah,
that he had at some convention or conference or whatever was going on.
I think we covered those a while ago.
Okay.
No, we covered his 25-point plan.
To save America.
Exactly. America First 2.0.
Yeah, something like that. But he had these 10 commandments, and my first thought was like, isn't this like blasphemy or something? Like, can't you not do this? Isn't there some
I'm gonna drop my Bible.
I'm pretty sure there's some rule. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's some rule in the 10 Commandments that says like you can't worship other
it's
idols.
The 10th commandment.
I don't remember what it is.
You can't have another commandment.
Yeah, but
you can't have your own.
You can't just make your own for the sake of winning a political election.
I'm dropping the New Testament, guys, for America First 3.0.
If this isn't like devil in sheep's clothing type shit, I don't know what is. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this that should not fly, because I feel like if a liberal did the same thing where it was like, I don't know, Biden's 10 Commandments, Bidenomics, etc., they would be like, this is the devil. He's summoning Lucifer.
Exactly. It's just like, how can this happen in the same week that Matt Gaetz drops his prayer in schools bill?
Oh, he did? He dropped a prayer in schools bill?
He's trying to get like a bill that would allow prayer back in schools, even though like it's allowed. You just can't make anybody do it.
Yeah.
Nobody's stopping you from going and praying like before your math test.
Matt Gaetz just taking a moral stance in favor of compulsory prayer in school. Yeah, that's so good.
Pretty sick, actually. But yeah, you can drop that and try to get the religious right, but then the religious right will just ignore you when you do literal blasphemy.
Yeah, well, and that's crazy because like, it's been case law through the Supreme Court for decades now that you can't force students to pray, but they can do it if they want. Yeah. That's always been the rule since like 1960 something, ever since that landmark Supreme Court case. And now they're saying, yeah, we want to force students to pray.
Like, I don't get it. I don't know the details of the bill. I don't know if it's like forcibly set aside time to pray, or just like, oh yeah, let's create a problem and then say that we're allowing it even though it's already allowed, because they do that a lot. It's a real big conservative tactic, is just introduce a bill that solve a problem that doesn't exist.
Maybe this is their attempt to solve school shootings. That is a big, like, and you think I'm being facetious, right? I'm being flippant, but a lot of the time when school shootings happen, when big high profile school shootings happen, conservatives come out and say like, we need more God in the schools. That's what's going on.
Wasn't there someone who was like, we need to just pray harder? Or some shit after like one of the big ones last year.
I think there was it the one in Texas?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
It was a Texas senator or something that said something about praying would actually solve this issue.
All the liberals were like, thoughts and prayers. We're not going to accept thoughts and prayers anymore. 24 kids just died, something along those lines. And then a couple of Republicans came out and were like, no, thoughts and prayers matter.
They said, well, that's the problem. That's the real problem here.
Like, thoughts and prayers has been memed for so long, as long as I can remember.
Oh, absolutely.
At least since Parkland 2018, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like we've come full circle and people are like buying into the meme and they're like, no, thoughts and prayers really do help.
But like, yeah, guys, why would it have persisted for so long?
Yeah. It's because we weren't thinking and praying hard enough. That's what it is.
Let's manifest it, guys. They're one step removed from the crystal mommy.
Yeah. Getting back around to our boy Vivek Ramaswamy, though.
Yes.
Eminem thing, big fumble. I think everyone thinks that's corny, especially when dude's sitting at 3% to 5% somewhere in there.
Yeah.
You need to be appealing to a different audience, and it's not doing it, dog.
What are you doing?
Is he doing it for a book deal? Like, he's already a 100 millionaire.
I can't imagine standing in that crowd as he just breaks that out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well,
just
especially
all of a sudden.
you're in a sea of old white people.
Exactly.
Right? Like, there's who around you is going to be bumping to that?
Because, like, I imagine you probably weren't as caught off guard with me as they were with Vivek, because, like, we do goofy things like that.
Exactly.
But Vivek tries to be a very serious candidate.
Yeah. Oh, man. What a clown show over there.
American politics is cool.
American politics is my favorite. I love conservatives.
He opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. He's joking how everybody's joking now. The clock's run out. Time's up. Over. Plow. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes gravity. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddy, he won't back to you.
Welcome back to Head in the Office, everybody. Boy, do we got a show planned for
yes,
you
we
today.
do.
In line with us talking about Vivek Ramaswamy, we got to talk about the debates today. We got some news coming for the debates.
In 10 days, if you're listening as a, dope patron
Sunday
on Sunday.
supremacist.
Yeah.
But if you're listening as a regular Wednesday weenie or later on, just next week.
It's in 1 week.
Republican debates are happening. The first Republican debates are happening, and we're very excited. And we're excited to announce right now, we will be live for it.
Have to.
We're going to start an hour early. I don't know. I think the debates start at 7 or 8. We'll be live an hour early.
Yeah. We'll be live probably at either 6 or 7, whatever's an hour earlier Eastern time.
Exactly.
Don't forget it.
Yeah.
Don't forget it.
We're going to be live. We'll have the exact details down in the description for you to go and check out. We hope to see you there. Join us for the debate pre-show and the debate watch party.
Truly, it's an occasion that we could not miss.
Exactly.
We've been hyping it up for months.
And I'm really, oh my God, I know this is like the culmination of everything we've ever done. You know
I know.
What I mean?
It's like the official start of the 2024 campaign, like shenanigans.
Exactly.
This is where everything's going to start getting good.
Like you guys have been watching as we've covered insane political ads, the Putting Fingers ad. We've covered all the fumbles that Ron DeSantis has been through, the various felonies Donald Trump has been charged with. You think that was crazy?
That's all foreplay.
Strap in, because we're about to get all of these personalities clashing, maybe. But we'll cover that this episode.
True. About to have the main course.
Exactly. But if you want to watch the debate with us, react with us, and see how we're reacting live, check it out.
Watch what happens live.
We'll be there, and we hope you'll be there as well. But today, we also got to talk about some other news. We got to talk about Steven Crowder a little bit.
A little bit of Steven Crowder.
We got to talk about some election results out of Ohio.
We have to talk about women in positions of power in gay cereal.
That's a really big topic, I hear.
It's a good one. A lot of people are talking about it. We got to talk about buzzsaws at the border.
I was going to say, immigrants being executed. Nothing new there, of course. But before we get into the show, as always, I might as well get down on my hands and knees and beg at this point. I know there's some of you that haven't bought some merch. And I'm simply perplexed because we have a variety of options.
That's right.
You can get some stickers, you can get a hat, or if you want to go a little bit crazy, you could get a couple of t-shirts. We got something for everybody. We got various colors you can get. It's all there in the store.
It's drip. It's right behind me if you're watching the video.
Headintheoffice.com.
Go ahead and check it out and peruse a little bit.
It's in the description. Go and do it. Or if you'd like to support the show another way, you could always become a patron. Early access to all of our episodes, every piece of content we produce.
You know the deal, really. You know the deal. But if you want to support the show completely for free, leave us a 5-star review on Apple.
That's right.
And we'll read it on the show, just like these fantastic people right here. The first one we have up, Leftist Paradise Pod by Nick Pett. What can I say? How wonderful is it to have these gents report the juicy news about our wild American political circus? 5 out of 5 hammers plus 5 out of 5 wrenches equals 10 out of 10 Karl Marx.
Yeah, Karl Marx was a graphic designer. He made that logo.
Hell yeah.
He drew it himself, you know what I'm saying?
Did it MS Paint, really?
Exactly, yeah, he was a man of many talents, jack of all trades. Next review we got here is from Jacob K01, Hiddo Household. Jacob K says, around April, my mom was in the car with me driving back to college in Savannah after I spent Easter weekend with my family in Virginia. I threw on the Trump is the new Tupac episode, and she was hooked. Oh my God, getting your moms on the pod? That's crazy.
Moms love Head in the Office.
I'm saying.
Moms love Hiddo.
We have a track record. Continuing on with this review, it says here, she's an 8th grade English teacher and has to deal with all sorts of backwards politics and ridiculous accusations from parents. I think hearing you guys gave her comfort that there's a large part of our generation that refuses to accept the straight up cartoonish levels of evil from the right.
That's got to be crazy during the Tate wave.
Being
an 8th grade English teacher during the Tate wave, that's nuts.
Do you remember seeing, there was some graph that came out that was like, young boys are for Republicans by like 30%, 40%.
Yeah.
And if there's ever any evidence that your political movement has been poisoned, it is almost unanimous support from young boys, because young boys are fucking stupid.
I can't remember where I saw that article, but it was some article that I found on like an actual like somewhat, it was like a New York Post type deal. You know what I mean? And they're like, yeah, the conservatism may be the new punk rock. Like young boys are loving it. Conservatism is actually counterculture. Look at how many young boys are into it. Young boys are the dumbest fucking people on the planet, bro. Yeah. I know, because I was one.
That's what I'm saying is like, I am lucky to have grown up in a household that wasn't just like blatantly conservative politics fed to me as a young child. So I grew up with some amount of critical thinking that I could protect myself with. It was a sort of vaccine inoculation for me.
Yeah.
But all the other boys that never get that, or perhaps grow up around blatantly conservative parents, I can't even imagine how it would be in high school right now.
Shit.
And again, if you just have tons and tons of young boys supporting your political movement, but nobody else, that's just a bad sign.
Like, that's crazy. You're on both ends of the age spectrum. You have old men and young boys, and that's
also,
it.
For our entire lives, conservatives, Republicans have been trying to sell themselves as like the counterculture group. It has never worked. Because it's just a fucking lie.
The nuclear family is so counterculture. Crust punk, nuclear family.
Yeah,
they're one and the same.
That's a good point. How can you be both traditional values and like a rebel
and anti-establishment? How can you conserve things you want to rebel against?
Yeah,
it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Quite the conundrum. Anyway, getting back into this review. Fast forward to now, she's still catching up on all the older episodes and sharing her thoughts, and as well as things she's learned with me. Recently, she's gotten my dad, an 8th grade science teacher.
Oh, my God.
Her family's been indoctrinated. Listening as well. My younger brother doesn't care much for politics and tends to stay away from those conversations, but that's still 3 out of 4 people indoctrinated in my family.
Majority.
So still props to y'all. I've been listening to you guys at work and in the car for about 2 years now. I just got to say thank you for making my political discussions more approachable for me. You guys are awesome, and both me and my Hiddo household wish you nothing but the best.
That's the goal.
That's a big compliment.
That's the goal of the podcast.
We indoctrinated 75% of this guy's family.
That's crazy. We're really just gripping your minds.
If you guys ever took a vote on things that align with our politics, it'd be over for your younger brother. Yeah,
he's fucked.
Exactly.
Hopefully your younger brother isn't that 30%.
Exactly. New Red Scare about to be started by us.
You got to watch out. And then we got one review from Instagram from Aiden that we've been ducking for like 2 weeks on accident.
Look, Aiden, I'm sorry, okay? I told you we'd read the review last week. Exactly. It's a really good review. You guys will hear in a moment. Sometimes
I see them and I like, okay, let me screenshot, and then I do other things and I forget that I screenshotted them, and I read it. It's a process, you know how it is.
I'm a forgetful guy. My brain is wholly occupied with like the woke mind virus at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't have much room for anything else.
It's got me.
You understand.
So let's get to the review. Title, Gas Fire Napalm, the final part. Hello once again, listener. It is official as of Tuesday, August 1st, 12:13 p.m. I am now a Hiddo head. Now here's the thing, dear listener. Anyone can listen to the prettiest of political pretty boys as a Wednesday weenie. Hell, some of you give your tithe to the Patreon and listen on the Sunday sermon. But to become a Hiddo head is a feat many have tried and few have succeeded. But you can succeed. To become a Hiddo head, you must listen to the entire backlog of content these geniuses have compiled. I know the task is daunting, but I know you can do it, dear listener. If there's any podcast worth your time, it's this one. Good luck, and thank you, Jeremy and Gage.
Yeah, anyone who listens to everything gets the Hiddo head achievement.
Yeah,
because that is quite the feat.
Officially recognized in the church, in the congregation.
Hundreds of hours of content for you. And if you can manage to get through, I couldn't do that. And I've been here for the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. You know I make every episode.
I wouldn't be able to listen to all that back. But if you're able to do it, congratulations.
Fan behavior.
Really. You are in a small select few. You're the cabal, really. Getting into the news?
We got to
talk about the GOP debates, as we alluded to before. These are coming up very soon. August 23rd. We're very excited.
So excited. I'm geeked, really. I can count it down on my fingers now.
And I guess you could consider this a sort of pre-show, because of course we'll be live.
Yeah.
And you can join us for the actual pre-show.
Really
a
the pre-show, because we have an episode that will go live for all the Wednesday weenies on the Wednesday that the debate is.
And we'll probably talk about it again.
Of course.
You know what I mean, we got to get the content out there.
I'm a slut for it.
So in just 1 week's time, the GOP will be hosting their first primary debate for president. Of course, again, we're very excited for the absolute shit show that this is going to be, and all the debates are going to be, but this is just the first one. Based on polling and donation requirements, we have a list of who is qualified for these debates. We have 8 candidates.
Let's go.
So who's qualified is Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, Doug Burgum, Tim Scott, Mike Pence, Chris Christie, and of course, Donald J. Trump, the man himself. However, there's one final requirement that we haven't really talked about on this show. And the final requirement is for candidates. The final requirement for candidates to get on the debate stage is to sign a pledge called the Beat Biden Pledge.
Okay.
And what this is a promise that you as a candidate, if you don't end up winning, will still support whoever the Republican nominee is. It's a means of securing party solidarity.
Yeah.
And most people have signed this pledge by now. You had people like Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley posting their signed pledges on Twitter to prove that they've done it.
Because it's about the movement.
Yeah, Nikki Haley, hers, it says at the top, like, beat Biden. Like, it's like the header for the document. But she crossed off Biden and said Kamala Harris. Because I guess...
what a crazy stretch.
I guess that's an angle she's taking, is that it's actually not the Biden presidency, it's the Harris presidency. Because Kamala Harris does all. I don't know what the ideology.
That's so sick.
Is.
It's like I don't know how conservatives can stand on that leg, considering that almost like everything she does has been an optical fumble.
Yeah, no, she sucks.
She's awful,
really bad. Now again, most of the candidates have signed the Beat Biden pledge, but there's one that hasn't.
I bet you could guess.
It's Donald Trump.
Oh.
Donald Trump has refused to sign the pledge so far. In an interview with Newsmax, Trump said this. He said, quote, "Why would I sign it? I can name 3 or 4 people that I wouldn't support for president. So right there's a problem."
So sick. He should have said, "I can name 7 people I wouldn't support."
Yeah.
He should have led all the way into it. Like, I only support me.
And you know, he's real for saying that.
And it's so cool because he could have gone either way, and it would have been true to his authentic self. You know, he could have been like, "Yeah, I'll sign it because I'm gonna win."
Oh, exactly. He could have done that, and that's exactly what he did in 2016.
Yeah.
They had a similar sort of pledge for beating whoever the Democrats put up because they just got 8 years of Obama. They wanted to win. Trump signed that, and he basically alluded to the idea that if I lose, I'm not going to support it. Like. And that's the thing is he could have gone either way and it would have been totally in character.
It'd have been so sick. I'd have supported him.
Yeah. And of course, there's no enforcement mechanism here. There's no way of making him sign the pledge. And of course, if Fox News and RNC wants their ratings to go up, if they want to pull in the MAGA crowd, they're going to do whatever they can to get Trump on.
They want their ratings to go up.
Even if it means Trump doesn't sign the pledge, they're going to let him come on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like, he could sign the pledge and also be, no, I'm not doing that shit.
Exactly. Like, what are they going to do if he, in the very rare case that somehow DeSantis wins or something like that? What if Trump just says, no, I'm not supporting him? Like, what are you going to do?
Or in the case that Vivek takes all of Eminem's monthly listeners on Spotify and is able to clutch the nomination.
Yeah. Trump's not going to just turn around and support him. Although Trump has said that he thinks Tim Scott and Vivek Ramaswamy have been nice so far.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice.
But I guess the rest of them he doesn't fuck with.
Quite the endorsement, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. I guess he's not a meatball Ron head as we suspected. Right now, of course, Trump is beating DeSantis by about 30% to 40% in GOP polls.
Huge margin.
Again, like if this Beat Biden pledge is a real thing that they're going to try to impose, he has no incentive to support anybody but himself.
Absolutely not.
He's far and away the front runner here. There's no reason for him to do it, especially because there's not really much of an incentive for him even to attend the debates.
No.
We've kind of been talking about this presupposing that Trump's going to go, but he still hasn't committed to even showing up. He said he's going to give an answer by the end of this upcoming week, but as of right now, he hasn't committed.
I swear to God, if he gives an answer on Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to be so pissed.
That's probably what's going to happen.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. It could change by the time we get to that
but
news.
It's also, I don't know. I feel like, again, he's a slut for it. Like, I feel like at the end of the day, he's not going to be able to overcome the fact that he wants to get in front of the camera. Because he was doing a campaign event or something, and he asked the crowd, what do you think? Should I pull up? Should I go to a debate? And they're like, no. And then he said something like, oh, well, maybe people are saying that you might get a soundbite, but should I go to the debate? And they go, yeah, you should.
Yeah.
The whole crowd cheered out, yes, go debate.
I heard that clip too. And I think I think Trump was like genuinely asking.
Yeah.
Because bro wants to know if he's going to be treated right by the crowd because that's all he cares about.
Be adored?
Yeah, he's a whore for it, as you said. So I think he is legitimately considering it, but I think that he wouldn't really pay much of a price if he didn't go to this first one.
No, I don't think so either.
Like, what are they going to do, right? Because then everyone just turns on probably Ron DeSantis as the person who's in second place, and then he just gets torn to shreds, and Trump doesn't really have to do anything to stay in first.
Or it's also like Trump shows up and nobody watches.
Yeah.
Because they know they're going to vote for Trump anyway. Like, people are going to watch the debate just to see the guy they're going to vote for.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to watch. Nobody except for the 3 people in the Lincoln Project are going to watch this debate and actually try and consider a different candidate than who they were going to vote for. Everyone who's going to watch if Trump shows up is already voting for Trump, and everybody who's watching, the 10 people that are going to watch if he doesn't show up, are inconsequential.
Yeah, basically none of them. Basically nobody watching a debate is still on the fence, right?
Yeah.
People that watch debates are motherfuckers like us, right? Like political commentators who obviously have a stake in the game as voters in this country, but still, we watch it for entertainment purposes or for covering it or whatever it may be. The most important point for debates is to get sound bites out of them. So you can clip them up into political ads and make DeSantis look bad or weird or whatever.
Like, Trump is so good at getting sound bites, even when he's being pressed, even when he is just 100% unequivocally in the wrong.
Yeah.
Just 100% wrong. Even when he goes out there and lies, he still gets a good sound bite out of it.
You remember during the Trump town hall when, oh God, he was asked some question and then just, it was about the documents.
The documents.
She asked him, she was like, so you took the documents and that wasn't okay, and that was okay, but then Biden takes them and it's not okay. And he was like, oh, well, I wasn't president. Like, he just gets to be a hypocrite, and people love
whatever he wants, and it's good. It's funny.
And that's low-key sick.
It is.
Like,
I wish that I could get out there and do that.
Yeah. All he's got to do is go on stage, lie about something, and then just laugh, and he gets a sound clip, right? Because the other person's going to look insane because they all want to take him down.
He's borderline unpressable in a format like this, especially on a debate stage when the format is already just 100% fucked. 60 seconds to respond, like 15 seconds to give a rebuttal. I don't know if that's how the RNC is going to do their primary, but usually that's how things go in like the general and stuff. He's good at it. The only way you can press him is when you get him one-on-one in like an Axios interview. Yeah. And you're actively willing to press him like my man's did.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, unfortunately, but that was like the only time he was pressed.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see that they're doing only one debate. Sometimes when you have a bunch of candidates, they'll do like a top card debate and a lower card debate. Yeah. You know what I mean? But there's only 8 people, so they can definitely fit these people on the stage. And I would imagine it's like a 30-second answer, 60-second answer, then, rebuttal if you get named kind of situation. So, yeah, the format's already awful, but it's perfect for clipping people.
Absolutely.
It's great for getting people out of context.
And Trump is always allowed to break the rules on those. Yeah. Like, every single debate I've seen of him, he always breaks the rules, and it always works out.
Yeah.
Because him breaking the news gets him a good soundbite. Like, I don't get it. I don't know how he does it.
He can interrupt anybody at any moment and just be like, wrong, that's wrong.
Like, no.
I can't wait till you got any predictions for the debate?
Oh, I don't know.
You think Trump will bust out Meatball Ron? I really want him to.
I really want him to. I really want, or like Little Rhonda. I really want him to just bust out like any of those names.
Little
I'd
D.
be happy with Little D.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
We'll probably hear a Ron DeSantis, but that one's never been that good.
I really want Ron DeSantis to like slip up and give us another my mom eat my wife.
Come on, that'd be so good.
I feel like he is a general, like, put together a GOP debate bingo card.
Yeah.
Just Ron DeSantis being uncharismatic. You got Trump calling him names.
Maybe we should make a bingo card and see if we could win a bingo off of the debate.
Vivek Ramaswamy raps on the stage.
Oh, fuck, that would be good. He does it again.
It went over well.
I'm guessing we're going to hear the word woke at least 40 times.
Oh, we should have a tally.
I was going to say we need a woke counter in the corner.
Like a little easy button.
Yeah, a woke counter. Because we got Vivek, who's wrote the book about like how America became woke.
Inc., right?
And then, and I don't mean that as like a euphemism. He literally wrote a book about
like
wokeness.
That's how he sells it. It's titled Woke Something.
DeSantis, you could say more metaphorically, wrote the book about wokeness in a political sense because that's all he fucking talks about. We're going to be hearing woke. That's all we're going to hear.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's good. It's like, dude, I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
I'm getting more and more geeked as we talk about it.
I want to hear Trump do some name calling if he shows up. I want to see DeSantis get flustered because he doesn't know how to debate.
Ooh, I want to see Trump throw some like remarks at Pence. Like, I want to see Trump subtweet Pence up there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want to see Trump talk over Pence.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely going to happen.
Well, I mean, first of all, the fact that Mike Pence made it to the debate stage is a miracle.
Didn't he just barely make it? Like, in the 11th hour?
Yeah. Like, the fact that he hit the requirements for donations is incredible. Nothing short of a miracle he needed to accomplish that. Especially because he didn't do the Doug Burgum of paying people to pay him. But he's going to get up there and just get trashed. Like, there's no chance.
Oh my God. He's not charismatic. He can't really get up there and talk. He's the most politician-y politician. You know what? Like, politician-y, conservative, evangelical politician that there is.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing you think of.
And they all hate him.
Exactly. And he sucks. He can't get up there and speak very well.
Not just the candidates, but like the base hates Mike Pence.
Oh, yeah.
Because he didn't overturn the election.
And that's why Trump should show up.
Yeah.
So that they can shit on him.
I got to wonder what kind of questions they're going to ask. We're going to get like inflation, because it's Fox News. It's going to be catered towards Republican politics and viewpoints. But I wonder if we're going to get like, was the election stolen questions? Probably not.
Oh.
But I mean, like, they got to answer with the dude right next to him. I mean, because Trump's going to say it was a perfect, or it wasn't a perfect election. It was stolen. They did voter fraud, blah, 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 whatever. Mail-in ballots, dead people voting. He's going to do all of that. But what are they going to say? Chris Christie's going to be like, no, it was fine.
And then he's going to get shit on. He's immediately out of the race.
Yeah.
As soon as he admits that. Like, and then what is Ron DeSantis going to double down on when he said, yeah, you know, maybe like things didn't go our way, but some things were sus, but some things weren't. It was a situation, but now we're dealing with it.
Ron DeSantis on the debate stage is going to say something like, well, Hugo Chavez wasn't controlling the votes in the DNC, but, you know, maybe there was some voter fraud with the absentee ballots, even though Florida has like, what, 80% absentee ballot voting or something like that? Because everyone's voting absentee.
It's the old people capital of the country.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, man. I'm very excited for these debates.
Oh, man. We're going to get a soundbite out of Ron. Like, either way, Trump doesn't show up, we get a soundbite out of Ron. That's going to be good.
Yep. Yeah,
that's gonna be really good. Maybe,
And I think the next debate after this is like September 27th or something like that.
Why so far away?
It's like a month away. But I think we're probably gonna get more than 2.
But it's also like what Trump doesn't show up, and that kind of just takes the wind out of everybody else's sails, because then nobody watches that debate. Right. Then he can show up for the second one, bring it back. He's the star again.
You lose at least like what 10 million views by Trump not being there. You know what I mean?
You lose all the views by Trump not being there.
And all of those are like potential voters. You know, none of those are like political commentators. You got a solid like 1 million, 2 million people that are watching purely because they need to cover it on their own shows.
Like, who knows? This is so chaotic.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
I'm really looking forward to it. If you're looking forward to it, come hang out with us when we cover the debate. Easy
Come
peasy.
talk to us in the chat. Little foreplay before the main event, you know?
Exactly. Before we move on in some more election news, we got to talk about Ohio.
Yes, we do.
You all may remember 2 weeks ago or so, we covered a ballot measure going up in Ohio that was very important, and now we have results in, and it's actually good news for once.
Good news.
Maybe not for once. Good news. Maybe good news is a trend with special elections for us, actually.
I think good news is a trend generally with special elections. I think we talked about that a little bit on the last episode. But good news is specifically a trend when it comes to special elections and really any ballot with abortion on it.
Exactly.
Because that's what this is implicitly about.
Yeah. So let's do a quick recap in case people forgot, or maybe they're tuning in for the first time.
Oh,
you know, maybe they're a new listener. Kick your shoes off, make yourself at home.
Exactly.
But in case you all forgot, let's do a quick recap. So last Tuesday, Ohio voters voted on Issue 1, a ballot measure to increase the percentage of votes needed to enact a ballot proposal statewide from 50% to 60%. So what this would have basically done is when you go to vote on ballot measures that are on your ballot in Ohio, you need 60% of voters to vote for it instead of 50. It would have just made it harder for them to pass. And this ballot measure also generally made it more difficult for ballot measures to get on the ballot to begin with. It was obviously an anti-democratic measure, but not only that, it was also pretty obviously an anti-abortion measure, as it was meant to sabotage the passage of an abortion referendum that's going to be on the Ohio ballot in November of this year. And we just got results in. Oh, really good news. Issue 1 was defeated 57% to 43%.
A commanding majority.
Which is a pretty resounding rejection from Ohio voters. It's really good to see. And to me, this means that no matter when the election is, where the election is, no matter how far abstracted it is from the core issue of abortion, it seems like a majority of voters in any state simply will not vote against abortion rights. It just isn't going to happen.
Especially in a place that elected J.D. Vance.
In a hellless or in a hellscape like Ohio.
Yeah.
In a godless state like Ohio.
God.
They will even vote against
one
this
of the
measure.
reddest of red, like flyover state, like all this, just in rural Ohio, Midwest Ohio.
Yeah, 57% of voters, 57% of voters came out and rejected this.
And it's like they not only rejected the ballot measure, but they were able to connect this to abortion, like pretty quickly, and they were able to overcome like the politicky words behind it, like the little word tricks that they're throwing in there.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is like this was already abstracted from the concept of abortion rights.
Yeah,
and we've seen a similar thing happen in other states with confusing wording or how ballot measures, didn't really make sense. It was mostly just like. I'm thinking specifically of the example from Kansas when there was a lot of confusing wording. So it was already abstracted from abortion in that way, but it also didn't even say abortion on the ballot. It didn't say reproductive rights on the ballot, and people still turned out to vote it down.
Like we just have continuously proved over the last year and a half, ever since the Dobbs decision, that voters will be able to overcome complicated wording, backwards wording that's intentionally trying to trick you, and voters were able to overcome abstraction from the actual issue itself to help be pro-abortion.
Yeah, exactly. And so you got to think about this, right? It's an August election. It's already not November. August is not when most people...
low turnout.
Yeah, August is not when people are thinking that they're going to go to the polls and vote on something. This wasn't the only thing on the ballot was this ballot measure. There was no governor's race. There's no Senate primary. There was nothing but this one ballot measure. And despite that, 1.7 million people turned out to reject the proposal, which is an insane number. In total, it was some 3 million Ohio voters that turned out compared to the 700,000 that turned out to vote in the August 2022 primary, which was just last year.
Crazy.
So, I mean, more than tripled the numbers that turned out for a primary that had state senators on the ballot.
Holy shit. And that was a highly publicized primary. Like, J.D. Vance was all over the news.
That one happened in May.
Oh, true.
State senators was their August election last year.
Yes.
But they still, so many more people turned out for this election because they knew what it was about. They knew what this ballot measure was all about. And I haven't seen explicit data on this, but I'm going to guess that young people, Gen Z millennials, probably had a big role in playing a big role to play in ensuring that this ballot measure failed.
And as well, because it makes me think, like looking forward into the general election that we have coming up, abortion is implicitly on the ballot here.
Oh yeah,
and anything post Dobbs, abortion is on the ballot when it comes to whoever we have in power, and it gives me a little bit of hope that whoever the Republican nominee is, and wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that they're gonna lose.
Well, especially because not a single Republican has so far, or not a single Republican that has any sort of chance, has ruled out a national abortion ban. They can't do it.
No.
They just won't say, like, I will veto that. They keep dancing around the question. They won't even land on a spot where they think abortion access should be cut off. So, abortion's absolutely on the ballot when it comes to candidates, and it's certainly on the ballot when the Secretary of State in your home state is obviously saying that, this upcoming ballot measure is blatantly to protect abortion from ever getting into our Constitution. And they said that.
Good shit.
Yeah. And on top of all of that, Ohio also had a new voter ID law that was already confusing a lot of people. This, I think, was the first time that it was applied. And on top of that, of course, was the confusing nature of the ballot measure. But despite all of that, it failed overwhelmingly.
Shout out Ohio.
Exactly.
Maybe Ohio's turning around a little bit.
First Ohio W of all time.
Exactly. Basically. And I guess, if we're to move over to another state that is actively awful and continues to be awful in every sense of the word, really, we've got buzzsaws at the border. And now, specifically, I'm talking about last month when Texas Governor Greg Abbott himself, demon in human skin, you know it, smoking
Emissary
that absolute malicious pack, just borderline evil in almost every sense of the word, decided to place about 1,000 feet of buoys with buzzsaws attached to them on the U.S.-Mexico border on the Rio Grande River, as well as multiple layers of razor wire on the river's bank, all to deter illegal immigration by threat of maiming individuals who attempt to cross.
That's an insane thing to do.
Absolutely nuts. And what's almost more nuts is that this is sadly what's expected from him after, last November when he invoked the invasion clause of the Texas Constitution to get gunboats on the river.
I was just about to say you brought the gunboats out.
To stop abuelas from coming over.
Yeah.
I I don't understand. And what I really want to focus on with this is the Buzzsaws, because it's such a crazy little bit of this story, because there are already these big orange round 4-foot wide balls with Buzzsaws in the middle of each one. The buoys themselves rotate, so you can't climb over them. The Buzzsaws are there simply to just
harm you,
be scary, and potentially harm you. And what gets even worse in my mind about this is that like a Buzzsaw in of itself isn't really going to do much. What makes a Buzzsaw like actually like cut wood and whatever it's cutting is the fact that it's spinning at like a high velocity. These ones don't spin. So it makes me think that these are really just there for the aesthetics of the cruelty behind it. Obviously, they're going to be able to do some damage if you try to get over it, but the razor wire on the riverbank is much worse. The razor wire on the riverbank has been connected to immigrants showing up bloodied in like after crossing. Like immigrants' children showing up covered in blood from the razor wire. Razor wire on riverbanks is much worse than the Buzzsaws, but it's the aesthetics of the Buzzsaws that make this so appalling. And it's because it's a part of this unique brand of conservative politics that we've been seeing, where the cruelty of it all is the point. That's it. These Buzzsaws exist to be aesthetically brutal and terrifying.
And conservatives like Greg Abbott will package it with the fear of like fentanyl overdoses to justify an insanely inhumane act like this. But it's all in the context of the fact that fentanyl being trafficked into the United States, while it might be a problem, happens at regular ports of entry. It's not usually through illegal border crossings. And in fact, the vast majority of border crossings that are happening at a place like the river that you mentioned, it's like families, people with children that are trying to cross into the country because their home has been ravaged by political violence, gang violence, or whatever else.
I remember explicitly seeing like Fox News coverage of like illegal crossings happening at the border, and they're taking video from the Rio Grande, and it's like abuelas walking over with their children on their back. And now they got to climb over these fucking 4-foot long buoys with Buzzsaws on them to try and get through, and then fucking climb through a riverbank full of razor wire like they're storming the beach of Normandy. Like, what the fuck is going on?
No, it's not a normal country whatsoever.
No, it's not. And it's like, thankfully, the Justice Department is suing Texas over this move.
I was just about to ask if Biden could do anything
but it's kind of interesting the grounds that they're suing on, and I understand it, but I think it's important to point out they're not suing on the fact that this is a blatant human rights violation. They're suing on the fact that they didn't get the permit. Which is so sick and such a funny function of like a liberal democracy, where that not getting a permit you can do from the Army Corps of Engineers is the only thing you can do when they're threatening to maim immigrants who are fleeing violence in their home country.
There's like no mechanism for ensuring
going on.
There's no mechanism for helping the most vulnerable people on the planet. Like
there's no mechanism to reprimand someone who holds a unique position of power within the government from just hurting people and being intentionally cruel to somehow bolster their own politics and their numbers when it comes to elections. No, it's the fact that you didn't get a permit from the Army.
And with this Buzzsaw story, I've been seeing the conservative argument, which usually exists around like the build the wall discourse, which is where, you know, they show a fence like protecting a house or the White House, for example, and they say, oh, well, you want fences and walls and obstacles here, but you don't want them at the border. And this argument is obviously already stupid because protecting a country is not the same as protecting a private residence. But to me, this does betray the fact that they are blatantly just saying that these immigrants do not belong in the same way that an intruder breaking into your house does not belong on your private residence. What they're saying fundamentally is we just don't want brown people coming in. They do not belong here, just as some criminal trying to rob you doesn't belong in your home.
It's fucking insane.
It's xenophobic, it's racist, it's awful.
And it's also nuts because estimates say that this 1,000-foot line of buzzsaw buoys cost $1 million to
Jesus
put up.
Christ, dog. We're just wasting public money.
That's what I'm saying. This on top of, I think, what, like the billion or the millions of dollars that Greg Abbott has been spending to bust these migrants into other countries that aren't border states, that didn't sign up to deal with these things like a border state has to, as, you know, a function of the government of being a border state.
I think, we covered a story like months ago of Arizona doing a similar thing with shipping containers that cost like millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, Arizona put up a bunch of shipping containers, and I think they had to take them down
which
because
also
they
cost
did
millions
something
of
wrong.
dollars.
Yeah, which they spent a bunch of money to put it up, then they had to spend a bunch of money to take them down because it was illegal. Which it's like now they just flushed $1 million down the drain because they're most likely going to get sued. They didn't get the permit, you know?
All the while, you're still more likely to be assaulted or attacked by someone who was born in the United States. You're still more likely to find someone overdosed on drugs that are brought in through a regular port of entry.
Or through Canada.
It's not, or through Canada. Like, it's not immigrants that are doing this to you. It is people usually usually doing it through legal means.
Yeah.
Or I guess it ends up being illegal, but it's people that you don't really think are a threat, that they don't brand as a threat, that are doing this to you. It's not immigrants.
So
Never
absurd.
has been.
So just fundamentally absurd. And I would also like to point out that Greg Abbott, a couple months ago, when all the busing drama was going on, he explicitly slowed down border crossings to try to like ramp up inspections to stop anything. He didn't stop shit, and it cost the economy billions of dollars and so much longer to get across the border. Billions of dollars he cost the economy just to accomplish nothing, just to aesthetically be brutal to immigrants.
Yeah, we got goods coming through the southern border, people. We got product that needs to move.
We got food coming.
Yeah, we got stuff that's got to move if we want the economy to keep running.
Money talked.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, obviously, we've talked about before how a insanely brutal immigration policy has been core to both Democrats and Republican governance for decades now. It wasn't always this way, but I mean, we've never really been that good to immigrants. But it is crazy to see Republicans just go borderline genocidal with how they treat immigrants now. Like Biden and the Democrats are not too much better, right? Kids in cages just become overflow facilities or whatever. But what Republicans do is exceptional. It is uniquely evil what they do to immigrants. Again, some of the most vulnerable people on the planet that we refuse to help because we brand them as different.
People who are fleeing places that are violent because of things that we have done in the past. We're gonna meet them with buzzsaws at the border.
Yep.
It's despicable, really.
Yeah. And of course, this is all in the context of the decades of violence that we've put these countries through, whether it's, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Haiti, the list goes on and on. The amount of meddling we've done, the amount of violence and destruction that we've caused, of course, precipitates up to now in history. And these people are still facing the consequences of our foreign policy in their own countries. And of course, that motivates them to move to somewhere like the United States, which is a country that's been sold as one of freedom, one where they could build a better life, one where they just go and then they meet buzzsaws.
Yeah.
So
buzzsaws and razor riverbanks.
It is a detestable thing that this country has done, this country continues to do on the backs of politicians like Greg Abbott.
Speaking of detestable things, we got some detestable people we need to talk about in this upcoming Beyond Parody.
Ooh.
Golly, we're back at it again, talking about Steven Crowder. We're a drama podcast.
That was a great transition.
We're a drama podcast.
We are a drama channel. We got a story about Steven Crowder here. We've covered our boy Steven before.
Yes, we have.
One of the most despicable people in politics. Just absolutely horrible human being. And if you were coming into the section thinking maybe my mind will be changed about Steven, think again.
No.
You're gonna hold a worse opinion of him after this one. But to get into this, I just want to read the headline. That I found to start off. It says, quote, Steven Crowder sends insane NDAs demanding $100,000 after toxic behavior leaked. Now, for context, over the last few months, Steven Crowder has been in increasingly hot water. Of course, first we had the video come out about him being abusive to his wife. We had evidence coming through about him constantly harassing workers with pictures of his penis.
Yes.
Unsolicited dick pics, and sometimes just taking it out during the workday.
Whipping it out. Gotta let the puppies breathe,
So that's all been very bad. But of course, we've got more bad news for Steven. It seems like the media storm just kept coming after him. He couldn't get away from the dick on table allegations.
Golly.
So he wanted to, don't get mad at me, he wanted to plug some holes using some insanely expensive NDAs and perhaps unenforceable NDAs to keep his workers quiet. Now, these NDAs came out a couple of weeks ago. He's basically trying to keep them hush-hush.
Well, yeah.
No more comments coming out.
Because, the NDA, it's obviously, you can't tell them that I've been whipping my dick out at work.
Yeah.
But I don't think that you can make someone sign an NDA for something that's already illegal.
Yeah.
Like sexual workplace harassment, that's illegal. Sexual harassment, that's illegal.
Also, like $100,000.
Yeah,
I don't think somebody that has positions like Steven Crowder has in his company could ever get away with charging someone $100,000 in fines.
Oh no, absolutely not.
That's a ridiculous amount of money.
But I mean, it's also I can't go kill someone and make the witness sign an NDA.
Yeah,
that's not how any of that works.
Yeah. So these NDAs, they came out a couple of weeks ago. It's purely an intimidation tactic, but from the article it says said, quote, staffers who breached the company's confidentiality would be liable to the company for liquidated damages in the amount of $100,000. Again, I don't think he'll be able to impose this by any means, but
that's
it's
just
crazy.
for like trade secrets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not sack tap.
It's an intimidation tactic. Someone close to the company reportedly said this, quote, Stevens' increasing justification of his workplace sexual behavior between men makes a lot of male employees uncomfortable. He says it's joking, but it doesn't seem like a joke to anyone anymore.
Nah, I can't. The between men emphasis is like crazy coming from a Steven Crowder employee, because you know that's like a homophobic roots.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's definitely like a homophobic. I mean, like, it's the Steven Crowder workplace.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So obviously it's going to be homophobic, but it is crazy that like the traditional family values guy is the one doing all of this. Like, that's fucking insane to me. But I got another quote.
Oh no.
I got another quote from the NDA meeting, and I'm not making this up.
Okay.
Steven Crowder at this meeting reportedly said, quote, if you're not okay with guys playing sack tap, then this isn't the place for you.
Bro, it's work. Like,
if you don't let me sexually harass you, you can't work
like,
here.
This
That's
is
what he said.
Workplace, bro. You're hiring from like the public. This isn't just like boys' night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This isn't just your friends getting together on Saturday for like a couple beers every week.
You're an employer.
This is your job.
Yeah.
You're giving these people health insurance.
Yeah.
Like their health, their going to the doctor is reliant on you employing them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be saying shit like that.
Yeah.
I think you legally can't be saying shit like that.
And if you're still on the fence about Mr. Crowder, if you need more evidence, it is worthy to note that he just hired this guy named Michael Spadone, who used to work at Project Veritas, another organization rife with sexual harassment allegations.
Oh my God.
A group that has never been free of sexual harassment allegations. Now, of course, this is really bad for Steven Crowder. He's been relegated to posting on Rumble, and his numbers aren't doing as well as they were on YouTube. No. And of course, obviously, nobody should be subjected to harassment in any kind at the workplace. Like, nobody. I don't wish that upon anybody.
No matter who you are,
especially at the hands of Steven Crowder. But on the other hand. These people do work at the Demon Factory.
You know,
they work in the kill trans people department. I feel like, what did they expect? You thought the leader of this business was just going to be a normal guy?
Yeah.
You chose to work there. Again, they don't deserve. Nobody deserves harassment like this. But come on,
that, and it's like, even in more serious terms, you can see how he spoke about like the Me Too movement. Mm-hmm. You can see how he spoke about women who came forward and talked about how they were sexually assaulted. You can see how he speaks about men who say they were sexual assaulted. You can see how he speaks about the topic, and you can kind of infer.
Yeah, it's like
that he's not going to be the best guy.
There's so many examples of like some, media celebrity or like even somebody on the left being like super creepy and harassing people, going way too far with sexual acts. Like, totally, that is a huge problem. But when it comes to Steven Crowder and other conservatives, I feel like you know what you're getting. You know what I mean? Like, I would not want to be around that guy myself.
He's like not quiet about it either. Yeah. He's not quiet about it. No.
I guess I don't know what they expected out of him. I wouldn't have expected him to just be like a normal boss.
No, absolutely not.
Like, I know he sells himself again as like the traditional family values guy, but like, come on. You could see, like, if you're a part of the conservative circle, you know that it's all a grift.
Yeah.
What did you think he was going to be like?
Man, bro should have taken that Daily Wire deal. Mm-hmm. I feel like as soon as he denied that $50 million Daily Wire deal, his life fell apart.
Yeah.
Everything. Getting a divorce, the allegations, like, come on.
Yeah, it did really start with the Daily Wire stuff, and you got to wonder if somebody at the Daily Wire, when he came out with his like expose video, was like, you know what, fuck it, I have all this dirt on this guy, I'm letting it fly.
Yeah, you think it's Daily Wire leaking all this?
You think Daily Wire has like a cabinet full of just dirt on different media personalities? Like, if Ben Shapiro ever parts ways and is like, I'm done with the right, you think they'll just drop all the dirt on Ben Shapiro?
God, that'd be so cool.
That'd be pretty key.
That'd be sick.
You got to wonder if they got like hit files on people.
God damn. Gotta love the Daily Wire.
Yeah, Steven Crowder has fell to the woke mob.
And I mean, shit. In keeping with Stevens, I think we got to talk about another prominent Steven, but this one is prominent in actual politics.
It's true.
Steven Crowder, online media conservative.
Evil.
However, Stephen Miller, on the other hand, ex-Trump appointee.
Policy guy.
Who also has his own legal group, the America First Legal Foundation. And that legal group is filing a formal complaint against Kellogg for gay cereal and hiring women.
So Stephen Miller. Wait, okay, say it again.
Stephen Miller, his legal group, the America First Legal Foundation, or legal group, is filing a public complaint with like the employment office about gay cereal and hiring women.
Many such cases.
Many such cases. So, I mean, let's get into it. Let's get into the details.
Okay.
So the America First Legal Foundation is saying that Kellogg, a publicly traded company, quote, engages in unlawful employment practices by seeking to balance its workforce based on race, color, national origin, and sex.
It's literally just the don't hire black people, don't hire women
Basically.
lawsuit. That's all this is.
Basically. They also said, quote, instead of equality of opportunity, which Kellogg defines as giving each person the same things, Kellogg's employment practices are unlawfully based on equity, which is a euphemism for illegal discrimination. It's not.
Yeah, that's definitely when I think
really
of equity,
isn't.
I think of discrimination.
Exactly.
Not combating discrimination.
God, and it's crazy because specifically what Miller's group is complaining about is Kellogg having a goal of a 50-50 split of men and women in managerial roles in global operations by 2025, and the leadership development program that Kellogg provides only to women, which I think personally is a really funny thing to complain about because nobody likes leadership development programs. They only exist for the people who go to them to post on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
That's it. They're really just one big circle jerk. And it's not like they even help you in your careers. I feel like the guy who skips the leadership development program to then go and golf with the boss is the one who actually gets the promotion.
Right.
But that's just me.
Right, and it's like you got to keep in mind that a lot of these diversity, like some companies do them, most companies do them very poorly, like their diversity initiatives to get more women in positions of power. But you got to keep in mind that these like DEI type programs exist to combat and attempt to manage former oppression and discrimination that took place, right? So you got to kind of overcorrect for it when you're trying to do that. And you got Stephen Miller, conservatives broadly, coming in and saying, actually, no, women should be denied positions of power because they're not good enough for them.
Actually, no, they should be denied access to these programs that nobody likes and only get you access to a drawing for a $20 Starbucks gift card at the end of the quarter.
Yeah. I mean, there's a broader Marxist critique, of course, that there shouldn't be a managerial class, of course. Like, there shouldn't be a group of managers that just preside over you and subjugate you every day. But that's not the position he's taking.
Oh, absolutely not.
He's taking the position that I don't want women to be in positions of power.
No. And it's like, in keeping with that, everybody knows and accepts as a near truth the phrase, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Especially in business, right? But then all of a sudden, when these initiatives get brought up, people like to hide behind this thin veneer of corporate meritocracy and say, oh, no, our promotions are based on merit. But in reality, they only do that to protect their boys' club.
Yeah. Well, and you got to ask, how is merit established, right? A lot of these skills are passed down. And if the ideology of management has been a patriarchal one so far, where they think that, we're only going to allow men to get into these positions, then women haven't had a chance to accrue any of the skills necessary to make themselves meritorious in that regard.
Exactly.
Like, so how are they ever supposed to get the skills if it's not a concerted, purposeful attempt to ensure that things are balanced out a little bit more?
Yeah.
Also, half the population is women.
Yeah.
50-50 is like bare minimum.
Half the
You know what I'm
population is
saying?
women, and a little over 10% of Fortune 500 CEOs are women.
Like, how are you going to say equity is the anti-equality illegal discrimination thing when they just want equality?
No, that's all
They're
it is.
saying 50-50.
We just want things to be representative of the general population because that's how ideally things should, naturally, things would work.
You would think.
It would be it is, what we have now is wholly unnatural.
Yeah.
Having 90% of Fortune 500 CEOs be men, having over like 60% of managerial class employees be men, having these wholly unrepresentative groups of people. Like it's not how things would work out. So we have to make a concerted effort to make sure that they can work out. Yeah. And Kellogg's not even doing a great job at that.
Yeah. And like there's an argument to be made, of course, that the pure equality of representation doesn't necessarily guarantee good outcomes, of course. Like that's an argument you can make. But if you don't have equality of representation, then it indicates something is wrong, right?
Yeah.
We don't have a fully democratic system or even a meritocratic system. It indicates something else is going on here. And when you investigate further, it's just like, women didn't get to have credit cards until the 1970s.
Exactly. They were constantly denied opportunities.
Yeah.
So let's work to correct that a little bit. Let's work to make things look more like how they actually would.
It's like the 3 IQ take. That's all you need to comprehend that line of argument.
Exactly.
You know
and it's like, it's so wild how conservatives can get away with trying to protect their C-suite bromances by gaslighting the general population into thinking that the very men that hold the majority of power positions are the ones that are being discriminated against.
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Yeah, nobody's hurting you, Doug.
Exactly. It's not discrimination to say that, hey, maybe we should make true what corporate meritocracy is and actually hire some women. Mm-hmm. Because I can guarantee you these men in these positions not all of them are exactly qualified.
Yeah. I mean, this is the classic conservative position to take, is like, oh, well, you're trying to make things equal, and in doing so, you're discriminating against good, strong white men. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, whatever, dog.
It's like, okay, sure. But I mean, I guess there was another bit to that little intro that I had brought in there that's kind of juicy too, and so let's get into it. They also complained, this legal group, in a second letter to Kellogg's CEO about certain cereal boxes that featured rainbow-shaped heart cereal, a cereal mascot holding a rainbow flag, a Cheez-It box with RuPaul on it, and my personal favorite, they also complained about Tony the Tiger appearing with Dylan Mulvaney at the Tony Awards.
Oh, no. They snuck the Dylan Mulvaney in there.
They snuck the Dylan Mulvaney in there always, bro. Oh, my goodness. Oh, they just can't get away from her.
No,
they can't get her out of their heads. It's ridiculous, right? And so the American First Legal Group is trying to take this and what they're functionally and say, quote, Kellogg is yet another big corporation that will break the law and hurt its shareholders' interests to serve the twisted woke ideology of its officers and directors. Like Disney, Budweiser, and Dylan Mulvaney again,
of course,
and Target, Kellogg's management has shown nothing but contempt and disdain for American families and American workers. America First Legal will keep fighting for big corporate accountability.
That's some strong-ass language for characters that aren't real and
That's
therefore don't
saying.
have a sexuality.
That's some strong-ass raisin fucking language for some kooky cereal mascots.
Yeah.
For rainbow cereal, which Lucky Charms has had a rainbow marshmallow for as long as I've been alive, and no one's complained about that now. But they can't even look at a rainbow now without thinking gay thoughts. So it's like, am I the problem or are you?
You know, the thing I also love about this is conservatives will nonstop complain about, like, the pride flag or gay people being put on cereal boxes or Bud Light or whatever it may be. But the reason these companies are supposedly hurting their shareholders is because these same conservatives are causing outrage and boycotts.
Exactly.
They wouldn't be losing money if you just shut the fuck up and bought your favorite cereal. You know what I mean?
That's exactly it.
It's the same thing with DeSantis, how he was saying that, like, Bud Light violated their responsibility to return profits to their shareholders. Yeah. Dog, it's your fault. And you did it.
It's such like this weird new conservative strategy where they're trying to take the momentum, if you can even really call it that, from the Bud Light situation where their stock price tanked after the boycott, and they're trying to take that and make, I don't know, queerness in general toxic for brands. So they want to take that, attach a concrete example to it, and then put forth a legal argument where you can say that no, this isn't a marketing decision by these companies to appeal to a new demographic. This is malicious by these marketers to try to instill this agenda that clearly is harmful and doesn't mesh with people, and that's costing shareholders and directors money.
Is it?
And
is
that's
it though?
why
Like,
it's illegal.
the only company I've actually seen be hurt by this was Bud Light.
Yeah.
Target didn't sustain any long-term profit damage because, let's be real, the gays are shopping at Target. You know what I mean?
Always.
The only company I've seen be hurt by this is Bud Light, and that's because they occupied an already fairly conservative niche within the market.
That's what I was going to get to. Bud Light worked because beer is a part of the aesthetic of conservatism.
Exactly.
They can't point to colorful, kooky cereal boxes, and they especially can't point to the Oscars for theater and say that shit's gay. They know.
or the wine story that we covered a while ago, where there's a pride flag on a wine bottle. Like, dog, the demographic they're going for is not one that's going to boycott the products.
All I'm saying is, if a whole family is getting together and watching the Tonys, I think they were already well in support of gay rights.
Yeah.
I don't think that's an audience you're going to win, Steven.
This also glosses over that within this whole conservative tirade against, like, there being gay characters on cereal boxes is this idea that, like, these characters are going to make a kid gay. I just eat the cereal, dog.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, some kids might like the art on the box, but it's not going to make them gay.
But it's also like kids like colors. Kids just like rainbows.
Also, like, before cereal boxes, Pop-Tarts, etc., had, like, all the quote-unquote gay imagery, were those boxes making kids straight because they lacked, like, a pride flag? I don't understand the argument.
But even like with that, it's also like before this, conservatives started latching on to all this, like, oh, you put a pride flag on there, that's going to turn my kids gay shit. all these brands, especially these like snack food, cereal, sugary food brands, would put rainbows on things anyway.
Exactly.
Because kids like rainbows.
Yeah. And notably, of course, like commercials and various different products have had gay people in them before.
Yeah.
There's been trans people in commercials before, of course. Like, obviously,
and
right?
it's like putting RuPaul on a Cheez-Its box. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's going to look at that and be like, oh shit, dude, I kind of want to dress up now.
They put Travis Scott on a Reese's Puff box and nobody gave a fuck when 8 people died at his concert all those years ago. Nobody was like, never give him a brand deal ever again.
It's insane. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And it's like it seems like they're overreaching way too hard and they just don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that this lawsuit from Stephen Miller will have any real political implications, but it's all just a part of the conservative conquest to genocide the LGBTQ, right? Like they will do it through legal means or cultural means or social means. Like it doesn't matter. They'll weaponize whatever form of power they can get their hands on. And if he can win a lawsuit like this and it forces companies to never put Pride stuff up on boxes ever again, then that's a win for him, not because he wants to ensure that shareholders are getting profit, but because he just doesn't want to see gay people in society.
It's like even if this complaint gets taken up, like and actually goes to a trial, goes to become a formal lawsuit, that's like a failure on the legal scene because this is so out of the blue, out of the ordinary, just an immense reach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't get it. And it feels like they're over leveraging whatever, again, momentum they had from Bud Light into just being blatantly just anti anything that's queer.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to work.
This also, like, it reveals another flaw in our quote-unquote free market system. Why is it that if a company takes a risk on a new marketing tactic and they lose money and it happens to contain LGBTQ people or LGBTQ imagery, that is somehow grounds for a lawsuit now? Why wouldn't they, along with the dictates of the free market, just eat the losses and move on? Like, isn't our system supposed to be built on you make decisions, you may win, you may lose, but then you move on and try again?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that what capitalism is supposed to be? But no, under Stephen Miller's ideology, it's you can try things, but if they have gay people in them, then you're going to get sued and lose even more money.
Then you're
because
fucked.
of the conservative outrage that I helped manufacture.
So silly.
It's so ridiculous.
It's so silly. I don't understand what leg that they think they have to stand on, and I really don't think that this type of rhetoric is popular.
Absolutely not.
Because like who's with that? What like regular suburban mom goes and like looks at the cereal aisle to get their kids some breakfast in the morning and sees like, oh, that's the gay one. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. No.
Well, of course that doesn't happen, and I think that's why they're going to try to do these things through legal routes, through litigation rather than like public support. Because of course, like the boycotts generally don't work anyways. But when it comes to like boycotting LGBTQ people or products with LGBTQ people on them, that's doubly not going to work because nobody fucking cares. So they're going to try to do this through legal methods because that's the only way it can really be successful. I know it's a tired comparison, but one of the main ways that Hitler and the Nazis got control of Germany was through the courts. It wasn't through direct appeals to the public, to the sensibilities of every citizen. It was through taking control of courts and having them rule to their benefit.
Conservatives taking a page out of the Nazis' playbook? Who'd have thought?
That's a first.
That's a first. That's never happened before. I can't think of any.
It's actually a novel comparison I've never heard before.
Yeah, really. Wow.
I actually just thought of that one on my own.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. What a crazy story. Gay Pop-Tarts.
Gay Pop-Tarts.
Might have to be the title of the episode. And by that, people will see the title and be like, what the fuck is this episode about?
Like, I just can't imagine like them just not minding. Conservatives seem to be incapable of just minding their own fucking business. Because like, sure, maybe like I get it. Like, oh, you see a rainbow in the cereal aisle and you get triggered. Nobody's forcing you to watch the Tonys.
No. Nobody.
I didn't even know the Tonys were on.
Well, I didn't even know that cereal started like branding with the pride flag.
Exactly.
I don't look that intently at the boxes.
And it's also like, you know how I also didn't know that cereal started branding with pride? Because there's always been rainbows on it, bro. They've always been there.
And there's also the question of like, where does this end? Right? Like, okay, fine. It's right now conservatives are very anti-LGBTQ. So
it ends with the alphabet mafia taking over and there's rainbows everywhere.
Well, right now conservatives are very anti-LGBTQ. So legally they're going to be going after them. Like, okay, companies are not allowed to do this anymore because it's losing too much money. That's a violation of the the responsibility to their shareholders, whatever. Okay, then can you start saying like, oh, Nike did this ad with, I don't know, an immigrant family. So, you can't do things with immigrants anymore. Or Nike did this, they started a new line of sneakers with this, I don't know, this black individual. So they can't do that anymore because that lost them money. Like where does this end? Do we just go down the line of every single identity until it's only white straight people that can be in public view?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. That's so silly, bro.
Yeah.
So silly. I mean, that is what they want, though.
Of course.
That is what they want.
Yeah.
Can't get around it.
Conservatives, classically, they want ethno-state, and I won't be convinced otherwise.
Conservatives being evil, especially them and Abbott. Stevens taking L's.
Oh, yeah.
Bad time to be a Steven right now.
Bad time to be a Steven.
Let me tell you.
Spelled with a V or PH, doesn't matter.
Exactly. I would not want that. Personally, I wouldn't want that for me. Change it.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't want to be associated anywhere near that. That's toxic to your brand.
Yeah. This really is an episode full of W's, huh?
I guess so.
Well, I guess this last story wasn't. No, never mind. I take it back. The immigration one was pretty bad, too.
Yeah, true.
I was just thinking.
Not a W.
I was thinking Steven Crowder taking L as a W for us, and then the debates coming up as a W.
That's true.
And Ohio's a W. It's a mixed bag. Let's settle with that.
And I wonder what next week has in store for us.
I wonder. I can't see it.
And you can be right there with us. You can be right there with us as the news happens and not have to worry about the Monday, Tuesday lull.
Exactly.
If you become one of our humble patrons, especially at the $10 tier or $25 or however much you want.
Exactly. If you want to get in and listen to the episodes before we miss vital news on Monday and Tuesday, which we will because we always do.
When Trump announces that he's going to the debate tomorrow, or honestly maybe even tonight at like 9.
That's basically guaranteed to happen, right? Like he's gonna announce right after we're done recording.
when he announces like tomorrow or Tuesday morning, and you're like, damn, I wish I could hear what they had to say before I have to wait like another week and a half to see it.
You remember like 2 years ago when Andrew Cuomo resigned right after we stopped recording?
Yes, dude.
That was great.
Yes.
Then we had to go back in and record and be like, hey guys, this whole conversation took place an hour before he announced that he's stepping down as governor.
That was wild. And then what was it, like 2 or 3 months ago when we said on the episode, nothing's going to happen to Tucker. And then the next day he got fired from Fox News.
That was the first time I've ever been wrong.
That was crazy.
Everyone that day, everyone was in our DMs like, hey, yo, Jeremy was wrong. And I was like, bro, I know. Okay, I get it. Fuck. I have one wrong take and everyone loses their mind.
You're all gonna turn on me after this. Wow, I see where the left's loyalties really lie.
I know. I have 100 good takes and no one bats an eye.
Exactly.
One time I say something wrong, we're canceled.
The left leaving me behind, and then they ask why I left the left. I can't. Come on now. But special thanks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To these wonderful patrons, the people that keep the lights on, the angel investors, the ones that don't fall victim to the news cycle. We have to thank Nikki 9 Lives, Caden Kraut, Lord to the Radiant, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, Talia Kotz, 40% Spite, Andrew Harris, Mike Chaplinsky, Mattias T, Omar Zuno, Clayton LaFed, Mark Yeager, Dylan B, Kaz, Caleb Joy, Jim Bob, Carl D, Rich Toro, Tari, Gavin Mayer Maldonado, Hunter W, Max Vezke, Fergalaki.
Oh my God.
Jacob Rogers.
Fergalaki's about to be in our comments.
Colin Mooberry. I didn't mix it. I just flipped the order a little bit. Colin Mooberry, Fixer Punk, Jim Egbers, Jeff Muzzy, Bagel Burrito, Cincy Alex, Joe Stenstrom, Adrian Sandoval, Chloe Sam 601, Colleen Cutts, Gregory Isn't My Name, Veryuk, Jennifer DeVoe, Big Bird Titty, Crawfishin, Bennett Bennington III, Alexia Benanti, Nietzsche, Big Booty Beatdown, Moises T, Sam Maloney, Two-Headed Boy, Ben Shapiro's Boyfriend, Jonathan Cassis, Luke O'Shea, Cucker Tarleson, Danielle Jackson, The Word of Microsoft,
Jennifer Signs, Aaron and his Gundam Gundams, Darth Father, Aiden Taylor, Corey Chambers, Sewer Snack, Ellie John Glover, Wheat Thief 69, Devin Hatchard, Retro Mondo, Meatball Minion, Emma the Dude Slayer, Claire McMillan, Breezy B, Elijah Murray, Veronica aka V, Raxon, Ash Smith, The Grotler, Magic Ian 95, Flower Clown, Jasper and Garris, Beetlebugs, Three Crows in a Trench Coat, Lonnie Rogers, Slavic and Sapphic, Casey Lynn Kelly, Snake Eyes and Hope of Giants, AK Gone, Aquana Dawn, Zach Lantian, Info Russell, Austin Greif, Marcus Corbett, Caleb Roper, Dustin Waldron, Taylor Rensock, Ishi Teddy, Cami, Calliope, Reagan, Not Like the President, Pagan Jester, Tylen Freeman, Steak Daddy, Tay-Tay, Chill Cascade, Isaac Hodges, Madeline C, Pab the Pab 69, Kayla Lowe, Lau? Oh no.
Oh shit.
I live in fear of saying names wrong.
We're fucked.
Anna Volinick, Eduardo Diaz, KCC, and my mom. Thank you all for supporting the show on Patreon. We update this this list weekly. So if we missed you by chance, you just joined,
go ahead and yell at us.
Let us know. And if you want your name on that list, patreon.com
exactly what to do.
/headintheofficepod. Become a patron. join the crew and get us to the moon.
Join the sermon. Enjoy your Sabbaths with us in your ear.
Exactly.
Come on.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Have a great week.